Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Shakti Speaks talk. This is the third one that we're doing. And today the topic is really juicy. We're talking about dark masculine, dark feminine, divine feminine, and all topics relating to this. It's Shakti Cabral, who is the wisdom that I'm drawing from. I'm Megan Buchman, and we just want to get into this topic. I've brought questions as I do every week, and we're going to see where the conversation goes. And right from the get-go, we're going to just say that this is a bit of a continuation of our previous episode. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you go back and check it out. It's on the ego and the monster mind. And now I'm going to hand over to Shakti just to make that little bridge from us from the previous episode, because there were some things that were left unsaid in that episode, and that'll lead us into where we are today. Over to you, Shakti.
All right, thanks, Megan. So, yeah, welcome everyone. What I wanted to say is this is kind of a continuation of what we talked about in the last episode, where we talked about the ego, and what it wants and what it actually is. And Megan had asked me if I'd actually met any masters in my lifetime. I had a little think about it, and I was like, don't think so, because most of them kind of don't go around saying that they're like singing their own praises. But I have actually. I thought about it afterwards. And this is where I really like these types of conversations where they're really organic and in the moment, because I often think about things afterwards as well, and I can add them in now. I met like Mother Mira some years ago, and also Amma, the hugging mother, and both of those I would say are masters, females. They're amazing. They make transmissions. And when someone can make a transmission, it's because they've embodied it. So it's an embodied transmission that they can just send to you. Mother Mira just did it through her eyes. I had a really like opening, expansive psychic experience as a result of just looking into her eyes. And with Amma, the hugging mother, as soon as it was up in Crystal Palace in London actually, and as soon as I just walked into the arena that she was in, I just started crying, and I couldn't stop. I made a little pool on the floor,
Only
and
tears.
yeah, yeah. And what was happening? I was having this big heart clearing at the time, and it was coming down my arm and pouring out of my hand as eczema. And I was walking around wearing this little white glove, like I felt like Michael Jackson, right? And I was wearing this little white glove because it was to stop it from getting infected. And it had been going on for ages, and I was a massage therapist at the time, and I had to stop massaging. And I went, and I was experiencing a lot of pain here and coming down my arm for quite a while. So I knew it was a heart clearing, but I just couldn't fully clear it. And when I went to see her, all she did, she just hugs you, right? And I hugged her, and it felt very normal and very natural. That there wasn't anything incredible about that, but just walking into and meeting her expanded presence was incredible. And so we just had a hug, and it was really beautiful. And she whispered some blessings into my ear that I didn't know what they meant, and my hand just cleared up. 2 weeks later, it was gone, and it's never come back. That eczema. Um, and I didn't cry afterwards. I didn't, but something happened, and it was really incredible, and I can't explain what that was. But I'd suffered from eczema when I was a young child as well. So, and then there is someone as well who's a friend of mine who was a complete and utter genius and a master at the same time. And yeah, this person blows me away on every level, and I would say they are a master too, but they would never say it. They
Yes.
would never ever say it. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to add from as a continuation from the last. So yeah, I think that I have met masters, but they wouldn't call themselves that necessarily. I think people would.
Yes.
It's it's a different thing. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and definitely Anna and Mother Mirror are incredible beings. Mm.
I agree with you. It's great to have this format where we can also circle back and say, oh, you know what I said? Maybe not. Or like, I've developed on this, or I found this, or now I've discovered this. And I like that about you and your work, that I feel it's very humble, because you have no issue with saying, you know what I said? I have something more to say on that, or maybe that. No, I could phrase it differently. So I think it's a nice person. I enjoy learning from somebody who doesn't feel that they always at all times need to say the super squeaky clean polished thing, because it feels more true to me and feels more honest to me in this way. So it's nice that we can bring that in from the previous episode. And I thought that maybe we could connect it to this episode by looking at those beings. And my question to you before, and you've given me an answer, but I'd like it if you could say it again, would be, do you feel that are they embodying the divine masculine and the divine feminine? And what does that even mean? If I'm saying that somebody is embodying the divine masculine and the divine feminine versus embodying the dark masculine and the dark feminine, yeah, you can maybe first tell me about that, and then tell me the example of them. How do you see it in them, or what qualities in them can you kind of pick up?
Well, they support life.
Mm-hmm.
They support life. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
They support the expression of your own being. It's not a complicated thing, you know. They like Amma, the hugging mother, like she says that her family were the animals, and she's very much connected to nature, and that brought her into connection with her own nature. Um, and I mean, if you look her up, you know, there's a lot of information about her. So I won't go into that so much. But and the same with Mother Mira, you know, she's the living experience. She's lived life, she's embodied it, that wisdom, and then she expresses it. Um, when you're looking at the dark masculine and the dark feminine, you tend to be linked more into a belief and an expression that is governed by fear and manipulation and doubt, or an overexpanded self of sense of what, you know, entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is more the darker side of it. But I would say that the women that I've met, that, you know, Mother Mirror and Amma, she's that they both, they embody both. So to explain that a little bit more is that the divine feminine and the divine masculine is something that when you really start to embody your soulful self, and you really start to connect to nature, right? It's always nature. It's our way in, it's our way out. Nature, connect with nature, the elements of fire, water, air, matter, and your consciousness, right? In a healthy, compassionate form. So you connect with that, and you allow that expression to rise within you. What happens is the divine masculine is what adores that expression. It allows the expression. So when you're allowing your own expression of your true nature, you're working with both, and they're working with both because that's what they're doing, right? It's about, the divine masculine is about the art of allowing beauty to, in whatever way, shape, or form it arises, to express itself and to love it anyway, and to support that expression, to support that love, to support that life. And if you want to experience or understand the expression of the divine masculine in physical form, look at the sun, because the sun always shines on everything no matter what, and that's an expression of unconditional love with no conditions, which shines on everything, and it shines on Mother Nature, and Mother Nature thrives from that, and it brings a warmth to life. You know, there's a compassion that is okay with everything. And that's the divine master within us all that we are all capable of connecting with. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Have I understood correctly that to embody the one, you kind of have to embody the other? So if you're, for example, it wouldn't necessarily be possible to have to embody the divine masculine, but then the dark feminine. They sort of go in balance. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise you're going to have imbalance in your life.
Mm.
It's not a healthy thing to do. So you do want to work on both.
Right.
And to start off with, most of us, and a lot of us living in this world, I say most of us, generalization, but we have we operate on the dark feminine and the dark masculine. We're taught to belief, put your energy into belief, but belief, as I mentioned in the ego side of things, it's fixed, and you pour more energy into what you believe. But the divine masculine is more into the art of allowing, and it's about adaptation. Nature adapts and therefore it thrives. So the two work together.
Yes.
Like, you allow yourself to thrive, you allow yourself to be free, you allow yourself to be empowered and to be powerful. You're
Mhm.
not going to suppress that with a belief that says, well, no, you mustn't be. It's a bad thing,
Yeah.
to be in alignment with your absolute true nature. But that's what happens. And that's where the dark masculine, which is like the ego, what can suppress that.
See.
And then what happens is that suppression of pure power and potential becomes like crushed, and it turns in on itself, and it starts to become stagnant. And when that energy becomes stagnant, it becomes poisonous. And when it becomes poisonous, it becomes not very nice. So it starts, the dark feminine can be expressed as manipulation, being very cunning, and a way of getting what I want. So I'm gonna be like this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna hold back on a lot of stuff and not really give you what you need, or like give myself what I need, actually would be the better expression of that. I'm not going to give myself what I need. I'm not going to say what I need to say. It's not safe. um but the dark feminine, yeah, she'll manipulate you. She'll bring out all of your fears, all of your worries, all of your doubts, all the things, all of your conflicts that happen inside. She'll get you to believe in it, that she's working with the masculine there, the dark masculine. Believe in these, can't dance, won't thrive, stupid, my life is worth nothing, I'm trapped, I can't step out of this because fear of the unknown. Ooh. So the dark feminine will keep you in that space, but she's pissed off. She's not happy, you know, and she'll get depressed, and she'll have inharmonious feelings and explosions with people, places, things in her own mind, in her own heart. And she'll kind of beat you up inside. That's the suppression. That's what happens when you suppress the feminine,
Yes.
right? Because that energy, it's explosive, and it becomes explosive. It wants to come out, but it comes out in all the wrong ways. And then she'll try to communicate, but she'll hurt you. She'll be blunt, she'll be sharp.
Yes.
You know, she doesn't know how to express herself.
Yes. Yes.
So when you start working with the divine masculine that allows that expression, then lots of tears happen, lots of rage can come out, you start to realize, oh, I was behaving like this because of that. Oh, I need to love myself, I need to love this anyway. My needs weren't met, so i I can be the source of my own needs, so I can give myself what I need and want. I can start talking to myself, and then I learn to communicate. We start to learn to communicate with ourselves. That's the divine masculine allowing the expression of the divine feminine. And then the divine feminine starts to rise. Okay, and that's when we start to find ourselves. That's when we start to realize what our gifts are in the world and what our, you know, greatest achievements could be. And we start to find our treasure that's buried underneath all of that. So to address it is to really gift yourself and in finding your greatest treasures and your greatest values and strengths in the world.
You were telling me before we started recording about ways to connect with that aspect of yourself, and you said that you have a protocol if you want to be sure that you're connecting to the divine, your divine masculine, your divine feminine. What do you do, or what are the steps that you take to make sure that it's not actually, the dark side sneaking in there when you're very much interested in the divine version only?
So I make statements, and to connect, to be direct with what I'm connecting with. I connect to the highest and greatest vibrations of organic, love-based, living light divinity. Mm. It's organic, it's love-based, and it's living light at the highest and greatest vibrations of. That's what I connect with. That's my statement, and I do it all the time. Mm. Because this is the plane of solution. This is the plane of inspiration. I want to connect with why settle for anything less? So I go for that, and then we can address the pain body. We can address the belief system, but we're connecting with it not from a place of pain or fear. And what happens with people is they start doing this type of inner work, and they're like, okay, I'm just going to tune in with myself, and I'm just going to connect and see what's best. Oh, I don't get a good feeling about this. No. I'm not going to do this course, or I'm not going to do this training, or I'm not going to go to this place because I'm connecting with my fears, my worries, my doubts. But if you connect with the highest and greatest vibration of organic, love-based, living light divinity, and you're connecting with your soul at its highest and greatest vibration of organic, love-based, living light divinity, your inner tuition at its highest and greatest vibration of organic, love-based, living light divinity, you're connecting with something that is going to bring you what you've asked for. The universe and the cosmos gives you what you ask for, and it's what you ask for that matters, and how you ask. The qualities of the questions that you ask are what matters, because that's what you're going to get. It's not going to go, oh no, she didn't mean that. Oh, you didn't mean it like that. It's just going to give you what you asked for. Mm-hmm. So that's how you can start to tune into those feelings. And if you're really immersed in feelings of pain, worry, and doubt, you can shift your focus to your favorite colors in nature. Always connect with nature, though. Your favorite flavors in nature, your favorite sounds in nature, and experience them. Remember the taste of that, how gorgeous a mango tastes in your mouth, and just swallow it and into your heart center and breathe into that. It feels really nice, and it changes your state, and it's a natural thing. So that's what you can do.
I'm having nice flashbacks to the time of doing a mentorship with you, where you, in the most loving way possible, you drilled it into me, organic living, love-based light. You connected that, and you're you don't do anything until you've done that. And we were doing all kinds of interesting processes, and we were going into the Akashic records, and we were doing transformation work and so on. But what I left the mentorship with, front of mind, that you have to make the declaration what it is that you want to work with and what it is that you want to connect with, and it serves you in all cases to use that protocol, because things can be sneaky. It's something that you can think you're doing a good thing, or you can think that you're entering something in a clean way, but that dark side can be a little bit sneaky. Those parts are quite ingrained, I find.
Yeah, and I mean, it wants you to feed it, because if we're the creator of our own experiences and we've been putting our energy into belief or suppression or, that stagnation,
Yeah.
that this is all of our own energy and it wants to live, so what we need to do is transform that into something that supports us now and into our future, now and forever. Like we need to learn how to like bring our life force into an energy that actually thrives,
Mm-hmm.
and so that we can start living a life that we actually want to live, and really be empowered, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but be the change that you want to see. Like do it, be it. Don't just sit back and wait for someone else to do it. Because at the end of the day, when your time is up here and you move on to other places, you're going to go to where your vibration is matched to. Quite simple. There's no one that's going to sit there and go, you've been a bad person. You haven't done enough work on yourself. Your vibration is going to plug you into where you go next. Simple. Law of attraction.
Mm.
And there, of course, there are beings that are off planet that will witness that and that can help us and guide us and whatnot. But we are the ones that decide where we're going to go next.
Mm-hmm.
So you can sit at home and you can do nothing about your life as it falls apart. But you're just going to end up in the same situation again and again and again and again until you realize you need to do something about it. And that's your dark masculine and your dark feminine just like working together.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just going to repeat the same stuff. If you want to change that pattern, you have to think better thoughts. You have to pay attention to the kind of stuff that you'd like to feel and bring it into your awareness and be the change. Just change it, shift your focus, do it differently.
You briefly mentioned this sort of off-planet cosmic aspect. Do you want to go into a little bit more on that and like how that corresponds to physical beings? Is something else that you'd like to share about that? I'm very curious about that connection.
Yeah, okay. So as I perceive it, like source energy, the actual source of everything, like energy, I perceive that as the absolute masculine energy. The expression of that source energy, the frequency, the light, the frequency of it, I see as the absolute feminine. So the absolute feminine is the result of source energy, that creative energy, bringing a frequency into some form of expression in the cosmos, which is the expression of source. So that's the absolute feminine, the expression, the movement of frequency, of light, the song, the dance. And if you bring that through to this planet, Mother Nature, Gaia, Sophia, is the expression of source energy. Because without source energy, there would be no expression of this planet, wouldn't be here. All the frequencies that make up this microorganism, which is called Earth, that we live on, work together harmoniously. That would be nice. But at the moment, there's a lot of inharmonious frequencies roaming around this planet that aren't supporting the life. There you could see the dark masculine at play on Earth that doesn't support life, that destroys it instead or consumes it. It wants to live and it wants to thrive, but it has to eat it. It has to devour it. And I'm not talking about the food that we eat. I'm talking about the land and the resources that we need in order to survive and to thrive. Fresh air, clean water, healthy land, happy people, happy animals, healthy nature.
Shouldn't be luxuries, but they kind of are in many cases. Should be a birthright.
Yeah, yeah. No, but this is what we're looking at, and this is how the absolute divine feminine, the absolute divine masculine work together. So you get a direct expression of it on this planet, the sun that shines on everything, that loves everything on this planet, and her expression. Even though all the other stuff is going on, the absolute divine masculine still shines on everything anyway. And the planets and the stars and this earth still expresses herself anyway. And then there's us who have choice, we choose to or not to. And then we become, we start creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of like victimhood and perpetrator, or or the expression of source, or the expression of our soul.
So speaking of us as humans here, this is perhaps quite a basic question, but there might be some people watching who are getting confused by the terminology of masculine and feminine and the link to actual men and women. I know that, we've got to like a more in-depth version of this conversation, but if you just basically had to explain, you're not saying that men have either the dark or the divine masculine and women have either the divine or dark feminine. We both have both, right? Like both, all human
Yeah,
beings have both.
yeah.
And is it
Belief in
true
it.
that women would necessarily have, is it more common that, for example, women battle with the aspects of the dark feminine and that men battle more with aspects of the dark masculine? Or is that not, is there no rule like that in your experience, maybe in your client experience, people you've worked with? Is it
It's like an inner battle that everybody seems to have.
okay?
One or the other gets out of balance. So, you can have women that are operating from just belief and doing and must be, active, and that, I mean, that's beautiful to have a lot of fire, but you can not listen to the part of you that's saying that I just need rest, and I'm really tired, and just like, can we just stay in and be still? So you that can be overactive in a female, or the feminine can be like the dark feminine can be so active in a female, where she's just like suffering from depression all the time, and she's got all these beliefs that she can't do this, that, and the other. That's like she's sunk into a really low state. But the empowered feminine will start to rise, and we you can start to she can start to shed her limiting beliefs and move more into like freedom and the freedom of expression and the song and the dance, and get into her creativity and do the things that she loves, and and allow herself to do that. And then the masculine and feminine are working together, and the same goes for men. So like the male, for example, can be stuck in his head and just thinking, providing, working, and doing all the maths, doing all the stuff, like going to work and doing all the computer stuff and doing all the or just being out there and being really fit and healthy, and you know building and like doing all the things that we need in order to survive and thrive, even though he might be tired, or even though there might be emotions, but there's no time for that, because it's a sign of weakness, right? It's not, but it can be that idea. And I'm just giving it in a nutshell. I'm not going to actually cover all of it, but so then there's no expression of the feminine in the masculine, and that will be shown as like tightness and like tension, and it might come out as a sharp tongue in arguments, and like getting like really irritated, or just not being able to sit still. It's forgotten about what needs to happen is for that the masculine side to just stop.
Yes.
Stop. Be okay with being. Be okay with stillness. Be okay. Learn to meditate, or do some action that is slow, like, or, like qigong or tai chi, or be like work in nature, and uh, just learn to soften and get to know your gentle nature, and then that expression starts to come out, and then you're working with both again. But I mean, look, I mean, there's bound to be loads of bits that I've missed out there. Just can't put it all in
I think
minutes.
we've covered quite a few aspects, but what I just thought of now is I know that you're offering something for women coming up, right? Where it would be a space that you're creating. I'll let you talk about it, but I know that it's a place where if you feel that you're a woman and you're very much stuck in the masculine aspects of the darker masculine aspects, and actually also I guess the darker feminine aspects. This is a retreat that you're hosting that I think is like an unbelievable opportunity to help you get these things in balance. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and when it is and so on?
Yeah, I mean, it's called Waken, and it's in Portugal from the 15th to the 22nd of June. It actually finishes on the solstice, which is great because I work with the sun, um, like Lion's Gate, the winter solstice, summer solstice. Those times that with those energy portals are really, really open and strong and profound, and it's so the light is really strong, right? Because of where the sun is. Um, it's about awakening to those energies that are inside of us. It lives inside, the only way like up is in, and the only way out is through. Going through it, like looking inside and awakening to those qualities that we've always had inside of us, that we were born with, the things that were our birthrights, our greatest treasures and our greatest gifts, and just unearthing and releasing all of the things that aren't serving our highest and greatest good. So we've got like a, a, so many techniques that we will introduce the women that join us to bring those qualities out. So, to release the blockages, to release the fogginess, to, like cut through the veils of illusion that we may have bought into, so that we can really find our strength inside and our pure potential, and start to rise into and live in alignment with who we really are, and like be free. So that's what we're planning on doing. I'm doing it with Ronnie Lynette Jones. Like we work together, and we've been creating this for a long time. So we're putting all of our experience, our embodied experience, into this, so that we can share it with the world. Because really, it's all about getting that expression out there and helping humanity to free themselves up, so that when we all leave this planet, the frequency that we match is one of freedom, of peace, of happiness, of joy, of love, that connects us to our true and divine nature and releases us from pain,
suffering,
and trauma.
Such important work. I think that's going to be a life-changing space for the women who attend. And there's just so many things that you're offering. I know that Ronnie is offering sort of womb yoga and like so many, soft physical aspects. You're offering the qigong, then there's sound therapy in there. There's a blue lotus ceremony. There's so much in there that's, I think, really just support getting that out of the suppressed parts out of women, especially, because I mean it's equally important for men and women, but this space specifically, I think, for the feminine is it's going to be life changing. And we're going to link to it for sure. We'll put the all the information in the caption here. So if that feels like it's something for you, definitely check it out. It's coming up in just over a month now, a little bit more than a month, about 6 weeks each. Yeah.
And I would just really love people to like realize their own brilliance, and know how to be free, know how to find their own happiness, know how to tune in to their inner tuition, and how to connect with energies that have got their best interests at heart, that support their own life. I'll be working with, transformational healing and akashic guidance. There's like so many things that will be weaving into it, which is just really for the greater good, to just help people to live a better life.
100%. Well, we're coming up on time now, and please ask questions for the next episodes. We'd love to talk about things that people are interested in. Shakti is just a book of knowledge, a lifetime of experience in all of these realms. So please, thank you for all the comments so far. We love the engagement. Would love to hear from more people what you're interested in, what resonated, and all Shakti's information is always linked below. Anything you want to add in the last minute or two?
You've said it all. There'll probably be a trickle over into the next one that we do. That more things will come to me that I'll want to talk about. So it'll probably be next time. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Lots of exciting things coming. Thank you very much for listening. It's very good to be here for Shakti Speaks episode 3, and
again,
more coming. Thank you so much, Shakti.
All right.